Yes, as I was loading up on my YouTube feed today, this scary looking Sky Bet ad popped up on my feed. I have no idea. I'm not a gambling man, but yeah, the forced diversity, the scary-eyed woman and the strange-looking dude next to her. I think the only accurate thing about this is that, yeah, people on my side of the family and obviously assorted relations out of it love to gamble a lot. So I guess if you're looking out for a positive representation of BLM folks, they do like to gamble all their earnings at a betting shop near you. And now, here's where we slow things down and enjoy a biological, admittedly video game woman walking slowly towards her destination. Slowly but surely. Appreciate her. Appreciate the curvature. Appreciate those beautiful butt cheeks and that gorgeous face. South Korea, I love you. Eastern video gaming, big up to you as well.
The name's Nukem. Duke Nukem. No, I'm not here to kick ass or chew bubblegum. I'm not here to get even with those alien bastards for shooting up my ride either. I'm here to tell you to watch Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog. So watch out for him and his babes of the 1980s. And one more thing. Hail to the king, baby.
Help me!
Shogun, starring one of my favorite actors, Hiroyuki Sanada, who again was way underused in Avengers Endgame and really, in my personal opinion, should have beaten Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. But the great Sanada, he wanted to be in a Marvel movie, he got his wish for 5 minutes, and then off he went to do things like the brand new Mortal Kombat movie in 2021. But Shogun has been an absolute massive hit on Disney Plus. Well, I guess it's Disney own FX now, so which is part of 20th Century Fox, which is why they ended up getting that show on their platform. I haven't yet watched it, but everybody is saying great things about it. Rotten Tomatoes, this really shook me, man. 99% aggregate. That's the average tomato meter from all across mainstream media. They've given it a big, massive 99%. Obviously, one person out of that data had some reason to dislike it, and I think I know who it is actually. So if we go to the cast and crew, the creators are Rachel Kondo, badass surname, and Justin Marks. Then is of course Mr. Sanada himself, Cosmo Jarvis as John Blackthorne, Anna Sawai as Toda, and Tadanubu Asano as Kashigi. So you notice the cast, right? They're mainly the native actors and actresses because Shogun is set in 1600s feudal Japan. But Jace, why are you sounding so negative about a show you haven't seen yet? Wow, this guy here, and I'm not even sure at this stage I'd even want to call him a man, William Spivey, or Spivey, I kid you not, this is a real headline. Where are the black people in Shogun?
Put a black dude in it! By gay pronouns!
And of course published in Afro Sapphire File, whatever that is, an online application for black folks. But the 2024 version of Shogun begins in 1600, as did the 1980 version with Richard Chamberlain, both based on a novel by James Clavell. I watched the 1980 version when it came out, held by many as a cinematic wonder, which it was, and it still holds up even to this day. And it's a great insight into feudal Japan. Well, clearly Mr. Spivey has no idea that there was a show called The Water Margin in the late 70s or maybe the early 70s, and I have it on Blu-ray. That's a great insight into feudal Japan as well. Even Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai will give you an indication of that, even though it was black and white. So the 2024 version focuses far more on the Japanese perspective because, once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's feudal Japan. The white characters appearing in the first episodes representing Portugal, Spain, England and Holland could hardly be deemed heroic. However, their character John Blackthorne, now played by Cosmo Jarvis, is already a pivotal figure and will be a hero along with several Japanese characters. This guy hasn't played Neo, the first game where the main protagonist is a white dude in feudal Japan. Others are already praising the new 10-part series as a cultural sea change from the 1980 version. I ask the question now that I naively didn't ask in 1980 because you might have been a fetus by then, or actually an infant. Where are the black people? Gee, well, in the UK where I live, they tend to murder each other or rob each other for their Canada Goose jackets because they have nothing else better to do, or maybe try to incite a internet riot on TikTok if you want to go out there and annoy people with your strange antics. I don't ask out of a desire to see representation. Well, yes, you do, because again, going to your headline, where are the black people in Shogun? You absolute Nimrod. My God, according to multiple sources, one of the early real-life shoguns, Sakanui no Tsuma Maro, 758 to 811, that's before 1600, dude, was black, although denied by others. Because maybe it's a proverb, maybe this person was spoken of but not proven. There is a consensus he was something other than pure Japanese. What, maybe Indian, maybe Chinese? And he is often considered to be descended from the Ainu, the darker-skinned indigenous people of northern Japan, who were forced to assimilate and colonization. This is a similar argument about J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, how the hobbits were described as dark-skinned, but automatically Jeff Bezos sat there and thought, we're going to make them black, aren't we? And that's not the case. Dark-skinned, if you're saying dark-skinned is automatically black, then you, Mr. Spivvy, are a complete and utter moron. Of course, now, when you go on to another site that he is part of, this is his own website, William Spivvy, Strong Beginnings, interview with the second black female musketeer. Really? I think Sophie Marceau as D'Artagnan's daughter was way up my tree, especially when she took her kit off. But of course, the guy gets absolutely roasted on Twitter. Fire William Spivvy, he's a moron. A publication, oh, this is the Level magazine, a publication providing a blueprint to life for black men who don't wish to go out and mug other people. One of the worst takes I've ever read. How does this man even make a living? Like everybody else, by being a grifter. What else? Of course, now you've got this website here, which again I mentioned before, Afro Saphiophile, intelligent black thought, because apparently black people are not intelligent enough to think for themselves. Society, love, history. Why we should never forget the power of black women abolitionists. Okay, wow, I'm absolutely falling off my chair. Of course, here is an excerpt of a podcast that Mr. Spivvy was part of. I'll play you a quick snippet of this.
Right, like she's relatively young
and she's
woman.
a civil rights activist. She's written a few graphic novels and children's books describing her experience. And I've given a thought to collaborating with my grandchildren.
He said he's given a thought. Okay.
Writing a book about their interests and what they want to know about Black history. But I'm working on toning it down so it's still age appropriate, because I haven't done age appropriate as of yet.
Well, that, you know what, that might be fun. I mean, I think you could learn a lot when you try to explain history to children. But I think it's a necessary act, because if they don't get it, if our children don't get it from us, where are they going to get it from? You know?
From Playboy magazine, which is where I got my history from. You know, back in my days at school, I'd actually have this same rhetoric thrown at me. Oh, Jason, you've got to look at where you came from, dude. It's important for you to know for future life. No, it's not. I used to go into a newsagent. I used to look up on a top shelf. Oh, 1984 Playboy. Some beautiful busty blonde on that cover. I'm thinking, that's my fucking history right there. I don't need to learn about where I came from. Why should I? And neither should today's generation, unless, of course, it's about social engineering and brainwashing innocent young minds. So this kind of talk here from ignorant people, why am I even surprised to see this? What do you do with this sort of things these days? You just laugh in the face of mediocrity.
So let's have fun.
Sweet Baby Inc. can't stay out of the news. You know why? Because we have people who white knight for them. Yes, you got a caped crusader called Bryant Francis, and we're going to see what this plebeian looks like in a minute as well. But Steam and Discord are being used as a home base for hateful reactionaries to single out and harass game developers. What is this guy's beef with people who don't like the output of Sweet Baby Stink? One thing that does actually trigger my mind off, if you go on Sweet Baby Stink's Twitter page, obviously posts are protected, and you can only become a follower if you have the same ideological thoughts as they do, namely ESG, DEI, and all that Larry Fink nonsense. But look at their followers. 2,657. And if you go to the Steam curator on Steam, of course, what's the current followers for Kibrutus's awesome Sweet Baby Stink detected page?
While we've been doing our silly little jokes and sketches, you've been sitting there gasping, "This is the greatest show I've seen in my life."
Bryant Francis. Oh, look at that. That's the epitome of male masculinity, isn't it, folks? Hoo-wee. And in fact, if you even go to his main page, he's the senior editor at gamerdev.com, and he could just write it like gamerdev dot, not the D-O-T. He's a game writer. Zephon, Endless Space 2, tips and pitches, BrianFrancis.com, Informer.com, him. Oh my God, geez.
You can have two. Fucking you.
You know, today when I went to work near Honey Lane, I had a new co-worker. It's a trans woman. Oh, and then he fell off my seat. And so did my manager. A man walked in with a pair of boobies. Now, I'll give the person some credit. They're not from this country. They are a foreigner, quite charming, and rather easy to get on with. No, you must call me he, don't call me he, call me she, none of that nonsense. But the reason why I bring up that person is because if you put him in the ring with Mr. Francis, my guy would knock him out in 2 seconds. Mr. Francis. So as reported in thatpartplace.com, Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair launches new hate campaign against Kibrutus. And who is she using? Mr. Soy Latte himself, Bryant Francis, to get Sweet Baby Inc. detected, shut down. And this, of course, folks, is what you need to spend your money on. South of Midnight. Colt Eastwood had this on his stream podcast thing last year. Like, why, Colt, would you have this featured on your game? Because it's going to be an Xbox exclusive, apparently. It looks fucking awful. It really does. That's your protagonist with a nose through her ring and looks like today's garbage generation. No thanks. Don't want to see it. So journalist Bryant Francis writes for game developer, and he hasn't got any influence. And even if for some reason they managed to get this shut down, I'm sure other people out there will have a backup plan just in case. Kibrutus isn't a stupid individual. I'm pretty sure he's got his bases covered. So F you, Kim Belair, and F you, Mr. Francis, because yeah, you are the epitome of manliness right there. But of course, folks, having seen this god-awful, hilarious picture of Mr. Francis and that side parting going all the way to the back and the front again, Reminded me of this Blue Stratos aftershave ad from 1982. Check out my man here who looks like the British version of Burt Reynolds. Gentlemen, a message to you. We need to start doing this again. Start grooming yourself as opposed to grooming others, because we're not Hollywood. And start whining and dining beautiful women again, please.
I know he's into something new.
My guy, my guy.
There ain't nothing he can't do, and he ain't doing that now. When my man puts on Blue Stratos, I don't need to sing the blues.
Blue Stratos, cool, quiet confidence.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, you're not going to touch that, love. We're going straight to base number 4. I love it. I love it. What a great ad. That is so awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, boy, this was meant to be a 10-minute video. I don't think it's going to end up being that way, but I had to give you the goods. And really, I mean, I'm very curious to see how far the dirty guerrilla tactics that Sweet Baby Inc. are willing to employ to get Kabrutus's curator page on Steam to be shut down. Because surely if they do that, you're just going to make the people like myself even more enraged and get everything out there. People are already waking up from the wokening up about how bad video games actually are. Right now, even Sony PlayStation are removing digital products from your console. So if you bought a film or you bought Stellar Blade, even though you have the license to use that game, because they accidentally uploaded it on the wrong date last week, yep, even if you downloaded the demo, you can't have it anymore. They've just gone into your physical hard drive and removed it, which is why I think digital is not the future, although it's going to be. But if, like me, you enjoy things like Banshee with Anthony Starr, and the running joke of that show was how many actresses will get their kit off in each episode, which is why I love to watch it on repeat viewings. And on that one, folks, if you were me, and if I were you, you might want to come back for the next video.
You serious? Then watch Jason Dumbass King on Kung Fu Hot Dog.